I love Colombia, so let's do this.
Okay, so first, let's start with the simple question. You started making sounds as a teenager, but what influenced you the most? What sound, wave, or style?
I was a huge fan of like Prince and the Revolution when I was a kid.
Hmm.
And my parents brought me up on like Stevie Wonder. I taught myself about Sly and the Family Stone and, people like Hendrix. My father played sax, so I came from a music family.
That was a huge influence for you.
My father, it was discipline, because I wanted to do
Ah.
cartoons. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to do like animation, so my father, it was more discipline for him. I didn't really look at myself as making music, but because he made music, he wanted me to do what he did at like 13, so I was kind of like born into it.
Did the college education like help you to understand like the music industry and the music in general?
Not at all. Not at all. I think I learned just from experience, just from experience when you start young and people giving you contracts and stealing your money or ripping you off or you learn really fast about the music industry.
Yeah, you learn by yourself, not for a
Yeah,
school or something.
exactly. They did from the gear to the equipment to you name it. I pretty much taught myself. I flunked out of all my schools, so I didn't learn anything in school.
Like the music is now and the audio technology is evolving from time to time. What's like the difference for making music back in those days in mid 80s 90s from now, and if that like is influence for your music?
Back then, to be a good artist, you actually had to be good. You put in this, you send a DAT tape, a recording. The president of the company decides if it's good or not. And then you go from there. So everyone who was a DJ, everyone who made music, mostly everybody was good at what they did. And if they wasn't good, they go back, listen to the critique, and they get better. Where now everybody think they're a fucking DJ, a superstar, producer because of social media. You got people who think they good, but they're selling their hype. They're selling shit to kids. And they're trying to make people believe that it's good. If I keep telling you that a piece of shit tastes good, if I keep ramming it in your head, you will obviously think that shit tastes like lasagna. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, a big light turns into into something true.
Exactly. So that's the bad thing about the whole technology and social media. But the good thing about it is, for people who can't make it, they have an outlet.
Yeah.
And then the people can judge. So with social media, YouTube, all of that, I think it's good. But at the same time, when used bad, it can go really extremely bad.
And for this artist you used to listen and now you listen, what kind of artists are you listening now? What kind of music do you follow these days?
I still listen to like I listen to like, I'm a huge fan of Radiohead
Yeah.
before they got really popular. But I listen to, I still listen to like Hendrix, Marvin Gaye, Sly and the Family Stone. I listen to a lot of disco lately. I listen to a lot of like old mixes by Frankie Knuckles, Ron Hardy, Larry Levan. I listen to a lot of disco. I don't really listen to current electronic music.
Your influence comes from different
I
kind
kind
of
of
genres.
Yeah, I have to keep my mind in the
Okay.
70s because the thing about the 70s and 80s, everything was timeless, even to this day. So if you got your mind into now, everything is, all the trends are dying and you're dying with the trends.
How was the experience of remixing like fellow electronic artists like Chemical Brothers, for example?
I never really been a fan of remixing. I've
Yeah.
only done it because, mostly because management, you
Mm,
know, and labels say, hey, you should remix this because, get your sound out there. Because I've always felt like you're giving your sound to someone and then they use your sound on and then it's on to the next remixer. Where when you make your own album, it's your own identity, so it's not like you're the flavor of the month trying to give someone your sound. You know what I mean? Does that
yeah.
make sense?
I know you've been here, but are you excited? What are your things, your thoughts about
Oh,
Colombia
man, I
right
love
now and the
Colombia.
music,
I
of
have a
course?
lot of Colombian friends, mostly female. No, they're like artists, they're like artists or
Yeah.
actresses, but no, I love the passion about Colombia. And, Colombia people, it reminds me of sort of like black Americans, African Americans, because we're really passionate about music and what we do. We wear our sleeves. So for me, and they show so much love to me while I'm there, all over the world, I run into a lot of people from Colombia, like, and most of my close friends are from Colombia, so, it's always,
Great.
for me, I wish I could come there more, but, I'm going to make the best of it while while I'm there and enjoy the ride. I'll probably just stay up and won't sleep.
You see in Medellin, there's a lot of people like who are waiting for the moment for the breakfast for the festival because there's a lot of good music in there. But I wanted to ask you about the Chicago Blackout project.
Right. The label or the podcast?
Most about the podcast, but if you wanna like make us a summary about the label, that's okay.
Well, at first, I was doing my show on iTunes, right?
Oh.
And then I was syndicating it through, on radio stations all over the world. And I said to myself, I want to go back to like when people used to sell records out of their trunk, or where there used to be like pirate radio stations. I didn't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be, because everybody got a podcast on iTunes. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be having my show, because for me, I'd rather put it on a SoundCloud as a mixtape and just let the people connect closer to me, because then I know who's actually in tune. Because now people are coming up to me actually saying, yo, I'm feeling Blackout. And Blackout to me is more like an underground movement. It's for me to affect as many ears as I can without having to do it on like a mainstream cheesed out level, because that's so obvious. It's better for me, if I do a mix and I'm doing it privately for my audience, and if they like it, cool. If not, they could go check out something else, But the reason why I love Blackout, because it's really edgy and I could just be myself. It's sort of like you just coming into my living room and we just jamming out.
Yeah, you have got like a creativity freedom to do whatever you want.
Yeah, man. I've been through the record companies. I've been through the A&Rs. I've been through the radio shows that say you can only play this. I'm just like, fuck all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem right now. Everybody's a control freak, I think everyone's a critic, everyone's a control freak. I just think it has to be some type of order, in a sense where everyone deserves a chance just to do their thing. Let the people judge.
Yeah, the one who listens the music.
Exactly.
Now the other question is about like the live performance. Do you use a lot of live sampling on stage or not, or do you prepare it for on every show?
I use Tractor and I mix 4 decks at once. So whenever I go into a show, when I'm there, I just do it. Every time I plan it, it don't go according to plan. So I just read the crowd and it's like jumping out of a plane with no parachute, pretty much. You might hit the ground, but at least you hit it doing what you love doing. No safety net. Just go in all out and just give it all you got. You know what I'm saying?
You love the risk of improvisation.
Like the sound of that, exactly. Because at least you tried. Everyone's not gonna like everything you play or what you do, but you know what? Just go in and do it.
Everybody or musicians and artists hate to be labeled in genres. How you feel about that?
I've made house, I've made techno, I've made electro, I've made reggae. To me, good music is good music. I think labeling is lazy journalism. Because if a journalist really knows your shit, he'll just say it's a good album, it's a good album. A lazy journalist always wants to throw you in categories, and sometimes it's not even a journalist. Sometimes it's just their boss at the publication. So at some point they do have to. For some people who don't know genres, I understand they have to do it so people could do it. But it's no different than black, white, Puerto Rican, everybody just a freaking. It's no different. You label someone, it's no different for me if I call you black or you white or you Puerto Rican. It's no different to me at all. A good person is a good person. A good album is a good album. It's just like all of these different labels, it creates insecurities within some artists. Me, I don't give a fuck. It's just, just because I've been doing this since a kid, so I've seen all the hypocriticism and all of that shit that comes with it. Even me, I've been a hypocrite, but I've lived and learned from it. And now if I say it, I do it, and it's because I fell into this hole where I got caught up into the hype. When they shot me down with the hype, they thought I was down. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna come back and just do what I love doing. It's like the Electroclash thing,
Yeah.
Electroclash is dead, right? But I'm
And you
still
can be
alive. I'm like,
dead.
I'm resurrected. Exactly. I'm like, it was cool for the time. Now it's something else. EDM's gonna die the same way Electroclash died, the same way disco died, but disco resurrected.
Artists can't die with the wave of the moment.
Exactly.
You've been around musical speaking for more than 2 decades or almost 2 decades now. How you feel about the future right now? What's the next for you? What's the next project you're working on?
For me, my philosophy is we're not promised tomorrow. So I take it one day at a time and just try to max out as much as I can during that day. So moving forward, I'm just touring and DJing in countries for the people who want to see the truth, who wants the truth, who loves the black and strobe, who likes the black outer, who loves, the past discography, or just like to, party and dance and listen to some new shit rather than listen to the same old bullshit, And I'm a positive person, so I don't, sometimes my word might come out twisted on paper, but the truth is the truth. You know what I'm saying? So going forward, man, I'm just still DJing. I've finished 2 albums. I'm about to start a third album. They're not out yet because I'm trying to work out the legalities with licensing and labels and stuff. But other than that, everything's great, Pedro.
Excellent. I think we're set now.